already talk of U.S. military intervention in Libya. Here in Benghazi, Libyans overwhelmingly reject this possibility.
يجب أنك تفهمي أن في أمور سياسية الآن تحدث والشعب الليبي بالكامل مصر على عدم تدخل أمريكا وعلى عدم تدخل قوات أجنبية في ليبيا.
Rebels in Benghazi are also rejecting calls from U.S. Senators John McCain and Joe Lieberman to send the liberated territory weapons to fight Gaddafi's forces. They insist they defeated the security forces of Muammar al-Gaddafi in Benghazi without the use of weapons and without the support of a foreign government. Their victory in the bloody battle for Benghazi has engendered a strong sense of unity and nationhood in a country known for tribal divisions.
التدخل العسكري من الدول الأوروبية أو الأمريكية بل نريد منهم أن يضغطوا على النظام القذافي بالرحيل وشباب ليبيا الأحرار هم من إن شاء الله يخرجوا هذا الطاغي من بلاد ليبيا ولا نريد إلا أن يقفوا معنا ويمنعوا الدول الأفريقية من أن يأتوا بالمرتزقة القذافي يأتي بهم من الدول الأفريقية.
The residents of Benghazi criticized leaders who have maintained good relations with Gaddafi even after the bloodshed, from Europe to Latin America.
South America actually know probably even more than the Middle East and North Africa what dictatorship is. So we advise them to really be cautious about what they hear from their leader.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today's Saturday, March 5th, 2011. I'm Darko. We're into part 3 of this news bulletin. We left off with this. Just want to plug my website, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Go and check it out. All the videos are posted, and there's a new poll up there. Illinois strips gun owners of privacy, and it says here, Lisa Madigan ruled on Monday that the state police were required by law to release the names of everyone holding a FOIA card or firearms owner identification card. Next, we have 13 Mexican troops charged with transporting drugs. So remember, I just said in the last video that they were that I was right, that the guns that come from the U.S. go to the drug cartels, and where do they come from? Well, they're seized. They're seized in the United States from gun owners, and then also what? They're transporting drugs. So this again verifies what I've been saying, which is what the Mexican government. Basically, they are the drug cartels. So when you see that, just think of drug cartels. When you think of Mexican government clamping down on drug cartels, just laugh at it. Laugh at it because it's PR. You know, it's when you talk about the U.S. government, it's a mob. It's a mafia, right? So just think of a mafia, what the mafia would do. So you just have to think like that when you see these articles now. It all makes sense. Lieutenant General William Caldwell illegally psyched bigwigs. A U.S. general in Afghanistan illegally ordered a military psychological operations team to manipulate visiting U.S. dignitaries into supporting their calls for further troops and funding. It was reported yesterday, and we just heard in the last video Hillary Clinton talking about psyops, or not psyops, but propaganda, and how the U.S. Needs to step up its efforts. It's like, dude, what the hell are you talking about, Secretary of State Clinton? The U.S. has some of the best propaganda, and the thing is, it's not even public. It's privately funded. It's privately funded. Fox, CNN, all of those regular television stations, news stations, they're all propaganda. They're just managing each propaganda channel is being operated and managed privately. But it's all the same thing. I've heard my uncle just say that the other day, how he turns on CNN, Fox, and they all say the same thing. That's because there is no difference. Just like in politics, there is no left and right. It's just one party. It's just one propaganda channel. And by the way, from what I heard, I don't know if this is fact, so it's just pure speculation. But I think it's kind of known in not the conspiracy community, but the truth community and all that Al Jazeera and RT, they're not really, national, networks. RT, they all speak with British accents. Al Jazeera, most of them speak with British accents. So I don't really buy that crap, right? There, Clinton, you're not getting more money for propaganda. Computer expert says U.S. behind Stuxnet worm. It wasn't just the U.S., it was Israel. They actually admitted to it. Sacramento police to tap into business security cameras to deter crime. So this is no freaking surprise, right? Because I was down in Chicago. I told you about my little experience, my adventure down in old Chi-Town. Big Brother police state now. Cameras everywhere, and including what? Out of all those private buildings, those skyscrapers, all of them have these little ball cameras hanging from them. Very, very, out of the way. You won't see them if you're just a normal sheep slave walking down, sipping your Starbucks coffee and trying to look all preppy and elitist. Look up, because there's cameras all over above your head hanging off these private companies' buildings. And guess what? I knew it was going to happen under Homeland Security and the Patriot Act. They're going to tap into that. The government's going to tap into those cameras and use them. CCTVs watch a British 70 times a day. 70 times a day. Keneally promises 300 CCTV cameras in Australia, and then you can check that out. Beijing will monitor citizens, quote, whereabouts via mobile phone. So all those people say that your cell phone isn't a GPS device. Well, then you need to check your facts, because it's telling you right here that they're going to monitor them through the mobile phones. Here we have WikiLeaks suspect forced to sleep naked in Brig. House Republicans attempt to revive Real ID because, well, it's the deadline. It's required by the federal government this spring. Ford finance chief warns electric cars may be only used for the rich. Then we have this. Google invests to make. We have Libyan rebels capture British soldiers, and then we have 8 killed in Libyan fresh clashes. If the Americans come, they would steal our revolution. We saw that video. U.S. warships arrive in Crete, so they don't really give a crap because they're going anyways. Egypt protesters raid on Cairo state security headquarters, and Libya no-fly zone an option. Obama gives strongest indication yet U.S. forces may be deployed in Middle East rebellion, and this no-fly zone is not good because it means that they're just going to start strafe carpet bombing. U.S. seeks to exploit Libyan oil, says Iran commander. Castro, U.S. after Libya's oil, and then Chavez says they're preparing an invasion of the North African country to seize control of its oil reserves. Venezuela says Libya's okays Chavez mediation plan. Then we have Press TV's London School of Economics receives $1 million or £1 million to train Libyan elite, which I believe his son, Gaddafi's son, went there as well. Or either one, if not the London School of Economics, he went to one of the either Harvard or Yale or one of those institutions. Day of Rage scheduled in Washington, D.C. for June 30th, 2011. Now here we go, guys. Where does the term Day of Rage come from? Because I wondered this myself. And it says here it would first appear in the United States by who? Oh, the Weathermen. The Weathermen Underground, a radical leftist anti-government organization. That's what? It's basically associated with Barack Obama, right? So there you go. And so this whole Day of Rage buzz term is what? It's programming, guys. You need to check out Stuart Swirlo. This guy is just a wealth of information, man. And if you don't believe in everything, you don't have to believe in all the reptilians and everything, but he talks about programming. And man, I'll tell you, he really helps you deprogram and put up some protection for ELFs and all that. And you go down here and it says here, finally, to confirm my conjecture in my most recent newsletter, I have verified that, quote, a day of rage is being called for by Saudi Arabia on March 11th. I will also tell you that, quote, the day of rage is a programming trigger activator for more worldwide violence. And so there you go. And then we have this. U.S. sends military planes to deliver aid in Tunisia. Anti-regime protests continue in Yemen. Anti-government protests hit Saudi Arabia imposes ban on all protests. Then they deploy troops amid protests. And then we have Bahraini protesters form human change. Iran Navy overcomes Israel at sea. Former U.S. Attorney General sued for illegal detention. UN slams U.S. for killing Afghan children. And then look at this. Marines in deadly Afghan valley face combat stress. Well, it sucks what they're doing. That's why they're under stress. And suicide rates are high and alcoholism is high. 109 inmates committed suicide. You know, and it'd be different. If we had troops on the U.S. soil and we were being attacked in our homes, then that's a different story. You know what I mean? You're fighting for something. But what they're doing, they're not fighting for anything. They're fighting for the military-industrial complex. And I would hope and pray that those poor souls, young and old, realize that they're fighting for them, for the military-industrial complex, and that they just stop or they do their time and get out and be more productive. 109 inmates committed suicide in France, and then U.S. legal experts in Pakistan to defend the CIA shooter. Trial of U.S. contractor ends in Cuba, no verdict. Women in America, don't get offended, females, by this little segment here. Women in America, how far have we come? I'm all for women being empowered, but at the same time, I think the powers that be are trying to destroy our old way of living, which is a family structure. And we have this International Women's Day 2011. So I found this is actually coming up on the 8th or the 7th, and the only reason I was curious about that was because of all these articles that were coming out. I consider them propaganda, but anyways, so you have the Women in America, how far have we come? And then look at International Women's Day 2011. Then EU introduces Equal Pay Day to highlight gender pay gap. Then this, calling female entrepreneurs. Mike Huckabee calls Natalie Portman's pregnancy troubling, I guess because she showed up and she's pregnant and she doesn't have a husband. And it says here, the opposite of a tiger mother, guess this, leaving your child behind. So this mother is just going to leave her children behind because, well, she never really wanted to have them. You see this, guys? It's called social engineering. And when this happens, and you could say, oh, well, it's just a conspiracy theory, we got to be free. No, I'm all for being free and women having, equal pay and all that. But at the same time, you got to watch out, man. Everything that's happening is being manipulated for a reason. So Texas coach leads, and I just want to follow up on that. The reason I think, my theory is why they don't get paid as much is so that the women, the females, have to use their sexuality in order to move forward. That's why you have people like Madonna and Lady Gaga doing what they're doing, is to promote women, is to basically to teach young women to use their sexuality, their sexual power in order to get further in life. And then we have this, Texas coach leads team to state semis just hours after giving birth. So this woman gave birth, a beautiful thing to life, gave life, brought life into this world, her own child, and then leaves it to go to a stupid freaking sports event game. I'm sorry, dude. I wouldn't have any respect for someone like that, but hey, I guess you're entitled to do what you want to do. Madonna's publicist expresses view on Lady Gaga and says that she has no problem with the song Born This Way being used by Lady Gaga. Why? Because I said Lady Gaga is a replacement for Madonna to help bring this culture down into the black abyss. Behind closed doors, from porn to everyday life, that is the goal. Again, Stuart Swerdlow, check this out from expansions.com. And he says, what was behind closed doors is now pushed into the public domain. Start with young people. Sex awareness sounds like an excellent idea. Teach the young to protect against unwanted body invasions, disease, and early parenthood. And take a lot of surveys. Provide easy birth control so that young people can do what young people do. Feel good in the moment. Enjoy the physical pleasures of life without the responsibilities. By mid-teens years, asking someone if he or she is a virgin carries the same weight as asking if he or she wants a drink of water. A nurse I know says that most of her patients have some kind of STD. This is not unusual. Many for life, but never mind, have more sex. Music icons promote promiscuity with words and images, i.e. Lady Gaga. Movies, television, and internet, all designed to open the sexual chakras and keep them open. National Newsflash, Northwestern University sexuality professor allows students to stay after a lecture to witness a couple using a mechanized sex toy, bringing the women to orgasm. A school in New York City routinely brings in a couple who live demonstrate a massive extended orgasm lasting an hour or longer. You can ask questions during the session. You can also have private sessions with this couple. This is still only the beginning of what was once considered private and personal and is now turning into acceptance of public sexual displays by ordinary people. Sexual magic ritual, new world religion, programming, generating sexual energy for someone else's use. Be wary. Monitor your mind diligently because there's a host of people out there who want to own your body, your mind, and your soul. They're trying to create a pathway through your mind, so don't allow it and stop it. And basically refuse this mass sexual programming. I'm going to follow up with this last video. It's going to be very brief. So this is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.